Hey guys, welcome back to my channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a small cap company operating in the US, specifically Californian MJ space. Now this company came to me in the form of a viewer request, and I'm super thankful for that because the more I looked into it, the more I liked it. Now the company name is Harborside Inc, and they truly are a vertically integrated seed to sale type of company. Now before we get into it, you guys, please take a second to smash the like button. It helps me out in a huge way. If you're not subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And take a look in the video description below. I've got a couple new affiliate links. One to Questrade, which is the platform I use to buy and sell securities here in Canada, and one to BlockFi. We are starting to see another run in the crypto market. It's a great way to make some interest on your holdings in crypto while you wait. And on a final note, let me know in the comment section below what you think of this analysis, if you've heard of Harborside before, and if you're currently holding any shares. Now without further ado, let's jump into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today we're going to be talking about Harborside Inc. Now this is another small cap player in the US MJ space. They're focused exclusively on the California market, which really differentiates them from some of the others that we've talked about on this channel. Their market cap listed on Yahoo is about $50 million Canadian. However, we'll see later in their presentation deck that the market cap on a fully diluted basis is actually just over 100 million on the Canadian side of things. Now, what's unique about Harborside is they're fully integrated. They've had a number of big news articles come out in the last month, which we're going to discuss first off here in this review. And then we're going to take a deep dive into their business model. Now, I've heard a lot of people talking about Harborside over the last few months, and I've been really waiting for the share price to pull back to a price that I feel comfortable jumping in at. And I think we're starting to get there. So if you zoom into a 1 year on Harborside, you can see back at the start of February, they were flirting with those $3 type of prices. Now we've cut that in half over the last 6 months here. And as of close on July 27th, they were sitting at $1.45 a share, closed 5 cents lower on the session. So they were down about 3.3%. And I'm starting to think they're really getting into a spot where I could think about entering this position. Now we have really strong support at the $1 level. We also have pretty good support at the $1.45. So we'll see if it breaks through and continues to drop. But this is one that's definitely on my active watch list. And again, I've been hearing a lot of people talking really favorably about Harborside because of its positioning in the Californian market. So to kick things off, I wanted to go over two pieces of news that have just come out about Harborside within the last month here. So number one is the completion of their Salinas cultivation facility upgrades. So they actually purchased this facility, and this completed their vertically integrated strategy, spanning everything from seed to store. So they've got a retail distribution network. They now have the cultivation facility under their Harborside umbrella as well. And this was super exciting for me because they now touch all pieces of the value chain in the California market. So this upgrade is actually expected to increase annual cultivation capacity at this location by 50% and enables them to produce year-round because it's now an indoor facility along with their outdoor grow operations. So as we move through the article here, you can see they now have 45,000 square feet of indoor greenhouse at this 47-acre production or cultivation facility in Salinas, California, which include the installation of blackout curtains, LED grow lights, and the incorporation of state-of-the-art environmental control systems, so HVAC, heating, cooling, ventilation, that type of thing. And this is really what's going to allow Harborside to produce those high-yielding plants indoor year-round. So that's why I'm really excited about this upgrade, and I think this facility is really going to transform the production capacity of this company moving forward. Now, in addition to that, just recently here, the Monterey County Board of Supervisors actually rezoned this area to allow the permitting of commercial MJ cultivation with newer expanded greenhouses on property that's currently zoned for farmland. So this plays perfectly into Harborside's hand here, and it really gives them the confidence that this facility is going to be sustainable in the long run. Now, the second piece of news I wanted to quickly cover here is in regards to the acquisition of Sublime, which is actually one of California's top award-winning infused pre-roll brands. Now we're going to look at their brand portfolio later in the investor presentation, but I think Sublime really does add a unique element to this business model. This is one of the fastest growing categories in the entire MJ market, and the infused pre-rolls are something that customers are continually looking for and going back to over and over again. Now, this was by no means a small acquisition, so if you think about their market cap at just over $100 million Canadian, this was a $44 million US acquisition, so essentially doubled the company's size. Now, Sublime is located in Oakland, California, so in terms of geographic synergies, perfect complement to Harborside. And in terms of the actual details, Sublime was founded about 5 years ago in 2016. It's got an expansive line of very high potency, high quality pre-rolls branded under the Fuzzies pre-roll banner. They've also got a very well received lineup of vapes and roll your own flower kits. Since 2019, Sublime has delivered revenue compound annual growth rate of nearly 70% and ended 2020 with nearly 8% of the entire California pre-roll market share. So very well-known brand here, you guys, and huge growth trajectory. And Harborside, again, feels like Sublime is in a great position strategically to continue this growth, as mentioned, in the fastest growing subsegment within the entire California MJ market. Now, the acquisition is going to be immediately accretive. They got Sublime for a price of approximately 1.8 times the estimated 2021 revenues of $24.6 million. They also got $5.4 million in cash, which they then turned around and used to repay the transaction of Sublime. So a lot of synergies here for Harborside, and I think a really smart move to position them for that federal US legalization. Okay, so switching gears now, we're going to jump into the Harborside investor presentation and actually get into their website. So you can see here front and center, they're talking about investing in California. You can see them featuring their retail experience in the promotional video here. And if we jump into the investor presentation, I wanted to kick things off by talking about the numbers. So as mentioned, this is a fully integrated LP or licensed producer. They've got 5 operating retail locations all in California, over 200,000 square feet of cultivation facility, which again now includes that 45,000 square foot greenhouse canopy. They've got a 39,000 square foot processing facility, which we're going to look at a little bit later in the video. Just over 250 employees, 3 brands currently in distribution, again, which we're going to look at in more detail, and 500 plus active retail customers, meaning other retail stores that are carrying their in-house brands. Now on this slide, they talk about a market cap of about 119 million. Later in the presentation, you're going to see that number 104. So obviously that fluctuates along with the share price each and every trading day, but we're in the general vicinity of 100, 110, 120 million dollars. And this is where the numbers get really exciting for me. So revenue guidance in the neighborhood of $70 million for F21 or this current fiscal year, 29% annual revenue growth year over year compared to 2020, 47% gross margin profit. They've got $7.4 million in EBITDA as of last year, and as of Q1 2021, they had a cash position of $31 million. So very well financed here, you guys. Huge growth behind them and expected to continue moving forward. They're positive EBITDA and they have massive revenue compared to the size of their market cap. So really, in a way, it reminds me a lot of Lowell Farms or MariMed in the sense that it's a small cap operator in the US market, and I feel like the share price really isn't reflective of the numbers and the operations behind these type of companies. Now, I mentioned in the intro that Harborside is exclusively focused on the Californian market. And I think this is really smart because obviously this is the most populous state in all of the US. California represents 21% of all adult use MJ in the entire country. So it's a very captive audience. Obviously, California is known for MJ culture, and I think this is a great place to establish their hub of operations. Now, they really call out the current regulatory environment as one of the roadblocks or bottlenecks in a multi-state expansion strategy. So Harborside has instead decided to focus on just one state that has strong and stable regulations and then expand from there when federal legalization comes into play. Now, if you look at the store density or penetration within this state, California only has 2.2 stores per 100,000 residents compared to Oregon with nearly 17.4, Colorado at 10, Nevada at 2.5, and Michigan is relatively on point at 2.2 per 100,000 people. Obviously, the climate in California is perfect for greenhouse cultivation year-round and outdoor cultivation, so that's perfect as well. And again, they've got that strong MJ history and subculture. There's 25 million adults over the age of 21. They've got 42 million annual tourists, and the market size of California alone at 5.3 billion is larger than Maine, Massachusetts, and Illinois combined. So although Harborside is only focused on one state, I definitely think this is the right state to be focused on. Now this slide shows some of the significant milestones or strides that Harborside has made in 2021. So you can see back in June, they actually announced the acquisition of that Salinas production campus for $10.8 million. This was the 47-acre production facility, which includes 200,000 square feet of licensed cultivation space. We then had the acquisition of Sublime, which we mentioned. They launched their San Leandro store in the month of May. In March, they opened up a $12 million revolving credit facility, which was then later used to finance that 47-acre production purchase. Back in the month of March, they made a $5 million strategic investment in Loudpack. And then all the way back in February here, you guys, that was their initial PIPE financing of $35 million Canadian. So a lot of action within the fiscal year here and continuing to achieve these milestones and deliver on shareholder value and commitments and promises from management. Now we've already talked about the Sublime acquisition, but I did want to add in this page because it has a couple of numbers that weren't covered previously in that news article. So we saw their 7.9% market penetration in 2020. They've got 10 different product formats. They're EBITDA positive, so again, an accretive acquisition, but they've actually got a 19,000 square foot production and manufacturing facility within Sublime itself. So that really does bolster Harborside's overall production capabilities or capacity. And the other number I wanted to point out here is actually in regards to the pre-roll category overall, which grew 140% when you compare Q1 of 2021 to Q1 of 2020. Now the second fastest growing segment was actually the flower segment, and that only grew at 33%. So you can see here, the pre-rolls is definitely where customers are voting with their wallet, and that's why I'm so excited about adding this asset into the overall Harborside portfolio. And you can see exactly that by adding in Sublime. That's really what completed the vertical integration strategy. So they've got the Harborside cultivation facility, manufacturing and processing. They now have the Harborside and the Sublime facility. Distribution is covered by Sublime. They've got a three-pronged brand approach. So they've got their key brand, Harborside and Sublime. And then finally, the retail dispensaries, which we talked about. There's currently 5 brick and mortar locations, and I'm expecting that to expand in the coming quarters as well. So shifting over to the cultivation side of things, as mentioned, it's a 200,000 square foot facility. They've got an annual production capacity of 20,000 pounds of flower, and they've now got that state-of-the-art greenhouse facility, which encompasses 44,000 square feet on the 47-acre site. Now, as you can imagine, on a location of that size, they've got significant expansion potential if and when they decide to grow this facility. And this is all backed and managed by their highly experienced team of cultivation experts. So really well-run facility here, you guys. Again, located in the perfect spot for this type of operation. And I think really positions Harborside in a great spot to address the California market and other states moving forward. So next up is the processing and distribution. So you can see again, 39,000 square feet total. They have the capacity to put out 10,000 pre-rolls per day. Oakland is 19,000 square feet. Salinas is 20. So basically a 50-50 split between the two locations. They've got proprietary technology. So that's really to do with the infused pre-roll product lineup and strong quality control measures to ensure that consistency that consumers demand. Now, similar to the Valens company, they also have potential for additional white label partnerships. So we'll see how that component evolves over the next couple of years, but that's exciting for me as well. Now, on the distribution side of things, they offer statewide distribution. They have 7 trucks currently in operation within the fleet, and they're averaging about 40 deliveries per day. Now, those deliveries are based out of one of 2 distribution hubs. So they have one located in Oakland and one in Los Angeles, which obviously are ideal because those are major urban centers within the California state. And that allows them to hit a network of over 300 stores each and every month. Now, this slide talks about their 3-brand strategy or approach. So they've got the Sublime brand, which includes the Fuzzies brand of pre-rolls. They've got the in-house Harborside brand, and then they've also got their Key brand. Now, what's cool with them is they actually target at least 25% of their retail space within their Harborside retail locations to be held or reserved for brands that they own. So they're really ensuring they have that shelf space available to catch consumers' eyes when they walk into these stores. And because of that increasing manufacturing and production capability that we just talked about on the last slide, they're looking to aggressively build out the Key and Harborside brands to include a variety of new product offerings. Now, speaking of shelf space, these are the 5 retail locations currently in operation. So they've got Oakland, San Jose, San Leandro, Desert Hot Springs, Terpene Station, and then they're looking to expand into San Francisco in the near future. $42 million of annual retail sales in last year, so 2020, and again, 50+% gross margins. Now, Harborside has really focused on high traffic locations, so they're averaging about 1,300 daily customer transactions between the 5 stores. We talked about the captive shelf space to promote their own in-house brands, and they've got an active M&A merger acquisition pipeline to look at expanding their retail location footprint across the state of California. So to start to close things out here, you guys, I wanted to take a deep dive into the numbers over the last couple of quarters. So in terms of their trailing 12-month revenue, they're currently sitting at $62 million, which again is super impressive for a market cap of this size. You can see they've got a really nice mix of retail and wholesale revenue. Now, traditionally, I've been a little scared of the cultivators and retailers. However, when the company is vertically integrated like this, I really feel like there are a lot of synergies and there is value in both of these type of operations. Gross profit over the last 12 months was $29 million. So again, profitable company with adjusted EBITDA of $8 million, again, over the trailing 12-month period. So from a financial standpoint, Harborside is in a really good position on top line and bottom line numbers. Now, in addition to that, a number of you guys like when I talk about cash position. So you can see here in Canadian dollars, they're sitting at about $38 million of cash. On the US side, about 31. So again, about 40% of this company right now, in terms of their market cap, you're getting in cash, which is extremely attractive as a potential investor in Harborside. Now, the last slide I wanted to look at is actually how Harborside stacks up to some of its peers. So this is a really great chart that I found in their investor presentation. We've looked at a number of these in other videos. However, this one has the most number of companies I can find on the US side of things in the MJ market. So they've broken it out into large cap operators. So some of these we've talked about on the channel already, like Cresco Labs, for example, or Planet 13. And then they also have a mid to small cap US operator section. Again, we've talked about a number of these, like Lowell Farms and Tilt, for example. And you can see that Harborside, in terms of their enterprise value compared to revenue and EBITDA, stacks up extremely nicely compared to their competition. So in terms of 2021 estimated enterprise value to revenue, Harborside's coming in at a 1.5 times multiple compared to the average of all small to mid caps at 2 times and the average of the large cap players at a 6x multiple. Now on the enterprise value to EBITDA side of things, again, 2021 expected, Harborside's coming in just under 10 times multiple compared to a 17.7 for the average mid to small cap in the US and a 20.5 average multiple for the large cap US operators. So very attractive price. And another thing I was super excited to see here is Tilt, which is another one of my large holdings, is coming in at a 7.7 enterprise value to EBITDA. So obviously that one I would highly encourage you guys to take a look at as well, because I think similar to Harborside, that one offers a lot of value for shareholders. So for those reasons, you guys, I'm super excited about this company. Harborside has really strong financials behind them. Their share price has pulled back dramatically over the last few months, and you're now able to get it at about 50% of what you would have paid back in February of this year. Again, a number of people have been bugging me to get a video out about this company, and I'm super glad I did because the more I learned about Harborside, the more there was to like. So that's it for today's video, you guys. Let me know what you think of this analysis, if you're currently holding shares of Harborside yourself, and what you think about their growth prospects moving forward. As always, make sure you smash the like button. It helps me out in a huge way. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. Thanks so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.